as. All right, it's Ethan Mussolini, the Merchant of Success. Welcome to part 5, Ethan Mussolini at 45. Okay, so these are the lessons I learned by the age of 45. Okay, so as of this recording, it is my birthday week. So, and this, I'm calling it the happiness edition because the things I'm going to share with you, most of them you will agree, some of them you might question, and that's fine. All I'm asking you to do is be open-minded, because so these are things I've been practicing the last couple of months, and I've noticed they are really, really powerful, especially those you will question and say, are you sure? Yeah, especially those. Because there are some that I know you will automatically agree with, and some you'll question. Now, especially the ones you'll question, those are the ones I would encourage you to test out and see for yourself and experience for yourself. Okay, let's get started. Yeah, especially that first one. Thou shalt not criticize or blame self, anyone or anything. So call these as the commandments of happiness, so to speak. Now, when I came across this about not criticizing and blaming, I was like, huh? Yes. So you see, the challenge with, let's start with criticism. The challenge with criticizing is you're aiming all this energy that is not uplifting, so to speak. And what you put out there is what you get out. And I'm adding there, not anyone or self. I begin with self also, because sometimes we over criticize ourselves. And I've noticed that usually, especially, that's something I've found very common in my personal life, and most people I've interacted with, in that sometimes we criticize ourselves more than how we even criticize others. Out of curiosity, please type in the chat box 1 if you are the type that you feel sometimes you criticize yourself more than other people criticizing you, or you criticize yourself more than the level of criticism you give to others, or more than how others criticize you. Type 1 if that you've noticed in yourself, in that you do something small and you really go hard at yourself and you beat yourself up like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, I'm seeing a couple of ones. And that's something I'm encouraging you to be very careful about. It's extremely costly. It really steals your happiness. It steals your joy like there is no tomorrow. And of course, I'm going to give you alternatives, which will show you then if not criticism, then what? Now, criticizing others. So now, does that mean that if you see something wrong, you just keep quiet? Well, I'll show you the alternatives towards by the end of this session. You'll see what you should be doing instead of criticism. But for now, resist as much as possible to criticize yourself and to criticize others. Then there is also the blaming. Oh, it's me. Oh, I'm wrong. Oh, I am. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, me. And then the other one is blaming others. And my coach always tells me, take 100% responsibility. Stop blaming yourself. Stop blaming others. Take responsibility. Say, I'm responsible for that. You know what? If this happened, yeah, I played a role in this. I am responsible. And so instead of blaming, switch into taking full responsibility of whatever is happening in your life. Then you will find yourself, experiencing a much more happier life, that I can tell you. So stay away from blaming self, blaming others, take full responsibility. Okay. Now, the one for criticism, I'm going to give you an option. So you will realize the tip later, and I will alert you to that. Instead of criticizing yourself and others, what should you do instead? I'll show you one of the tips later. So this criticism, blaming is one of the biggest thieves to your happiness. And I'm challenging you to pay attention to that and stay away from it as much as possible. And it will make a huge difference in your life. This is something I've been practicing the last couple of months. Not that I'm perfect yet, but I'm doing the best that I can in the moment. And I believe I'll get there. And I know I have one co-host, by the way. If there's someone else who would like to co-host, you can raise your hand so that in case someone forgets to mute, you can help me with the muting business, so to speak. All right. Okay, so anyone else? Let me see them first. Okay, thank you, Desire. Yes, they are. Okay, so the other, let me first. All right, so that's tip number 38 or lesson number 38. Let me see. I'm seeing a message coming through. Desire also says can co-host. Fantastic. So let me make a co-host. Okay, so number 39, tip number 39, thou shalt not gossip. So that's one of the things now. Why not gossip? Reason being, it's not constructive. So what I discovered that the key to also keeping yourself in a frame of happiness is to focus on constructive things, is to focus on things that build up. Now, gossip is not something that is constructive. Gossip is, usually it's a wastage of time. Usually we gossip about things that, things that we do not like about other people. And what you're doing is that you're spreading that energy onto the universe, which is not good. And what I discovered in my last couple of months of study is that what we put out, a portion of it, a bigger portion stays in us, in our world, at least 60%. Now, you want to, when you open your mouth, you want to put out that which builds. You want to put out that which lifts up people, not that which pulls down people. Okay. So that's the key thing that you need. So you have to be very careful. Now, if people come to you gossiping, so what you can do is to ask, okay, by the way, have you talked to this person about this thing that you're sharing with me? Because you may not gossip, but you also don't want to encourage gossip. And if you don't have control in such situations, then you can choose to walk away. You can choose. The other tip that I like also is when you notice that the conversation is not going in the direction that you want, again, you can be that positive force of influence, is you can ask a question. Say, hey, by the way, has anyone noticed this thing? Or by the out of curiosity, can someone help me with this thing? And you ask a question that you feel can shift the conversation to something useful, to distract people from gossip or any negative talk or conversation. And there's someone who at one time was sending me messages that, sharing stories about stuff that is not helpful. And I said, please only send me constructive things. This stuff that I know some of you on social media and all that, I'm sure you have people who send you all these negative stories or gossip or stuff that is not, advise them, say kindly, only share with me stuff that is constructive, that is uplifting, because this pulls my spirit down. So, and I'm sure some of us know of such characters who only share and spread stuff that is not uplifting, and that steals your joy, because I'm yet to hear someone say, oh, when I hear this gossip, I'm super happy. No, if you pay attention to how you feel, you might think that it's when you pay attention, I beg your pardon, when you pay attention to how you're feeling, then in the process, you might find that, you will find that it's not something that makes you happier, okay? So that I can guarantee. So stay away from gossip as much as possible. All right, let's see. The other key thing, tip number 40. Thou shalt stay away from doubt, fear, irritation, and anger. Okay, so You may, and it's quite interesting. If it was a couple of years ago, like this other hacker who like the experience they did moments ago, and I believe something happened, I would have been irritated, I would have been angry or something like that. But to be honest with you, I was cool. I was like, okay, this is quite a challenge. Let's see, how do we solve this? Because I don't want irritation to be in my world. I don't want that fellow to steal my joy. Because you can be like, oh, what? No, no. Now, does that mean that I'm 100% free from irritation as of this recording? Not yet. And I'm making tremendous progress. So there are those characters who appear in your life. There are those challenges that will appear in your life. So as much as possible, remember, peace, be still. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. That's something I've been learning and working at practicing. There's something I was engaged in. It was last week. There's something that was disturbing my peace, so to speak. And I was like, God, what do I do now? What do I do now? What do I do now? And God reminded me, peace, be still. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. So I invite you to pay attention to that, to remind yourself of that also, of peace. Just be at peace and be still. Now, especially on irritation. Now, with doubt and fear, the trick is, as much as possible, you need to start building your faith muscle. Okay. So there are those things, and when it comes to fear, when you build your confidence and self-esteem, that also helps reduce that fear, that doubt. So I would encourage you to check out that training I did on confidence and self-esteem. It is available at succeedingdaily.com. It will help you with that. And also, part of what I found extremely useful for me in my personal life around doubt and fear is to know that I'm not alone, is to know that I am a son of God, and you should know that you're a son of God, that you're a child of God, and God, your creator, is always watching over you, is always fine-tuning things for you and making moving pieces and bits and pieces for you on your behalf. That the angels that be the powers of light and love, that be the powers of God, that be organizing things, even when things are temporarily seemingly out of whack, so to speak. It is a temporary challenge. So I'm inviting you to look at these challenges as temporal. They are not permanent. Challenges are temporal. They are never permanent. So just know that there are things and when I say challenges, well, there could be something you say, oh, there is this other thing that I lost someone and that's permanent. That person is gone. Yes, you're right from that perspective. I mean, the feeling and the interpretation and the experience that you're going through at that moment is temporal. And I can relate. I lost both of my parents. I've lost some of my closest family members. So I can relate. But the key thing, what I mean by temporal is, for example, the grief. That's temporal. The crying is temporal. So you need to remind yourself of some of these things, that they are temporal. If you don't have a job right now, that's temporal. If you're in debt right now, that's temporal. If you're not in good books with your boss, that's temporal. If if you didn't get a good harvest this season, that's temporal. So once you know that things are temporal, then that will dramatically reduce your doubts and fears, because then when we get shaken, doubts and fear come in. And I'm not yet 100% free yet. And I'm telling you that what has helped me to make tremendous progress is what I'm sharing with you now. In that, even when it's there, even when that doubt or fear is there temporarily, that's how I manage it. I remind myself of these things, the mindsets I'm sharing with you right now, and they are really, really powerful. So I want you to keep building the faith and know that you are not alone, that God is with you, and things are going to shift and things are going to happen. Now, in terms of anger, I'm not sure whether I did a course or a training on anger management. I'll have to check on succeedingdaily.com whether I did. But you see, if you do these things, by the time we are done with all the tips, I have five more lessons to share with you. Then anger will stay away from you as much as possible. So just know that being angry sends poison in your system. So you might feel excited and energetic in the moment, but it's extremely costly for you, my friend. So stay away from anger as much as possible. Tip 41. Thou shalt not envy anyone or anything. Because, well, that's not even from it, it's even in the Bible. So envy creates this bad feeling in yourself. Again, what I'm showing you are the emotions that you need to get rid of, the mindsets, the attitudes that you need to get rid of that will spoil your happiness, that will spoil your peace, so to speak. And envy does not accelerate the peace and happiness in you. So stay away from there, my friend. So you need to, as much as possible, be at peace with what you have. And it's okay, by the way, to see someone having something and you feel inspired and you feel like, oh God, it would be wonderful if I had something like that. That's not envy. Envy is ego. Why is it that you're doing this? Why is it God? How come you gave him that nice car and mine is a beat up car? That's envy now. My daughters were still young. Something I'm still, working at teaching them. Like, oh, how come you gave them sons this and that, and for me you didn't give me this? That's envy. Oh, how come they have this and me I don't have that? That's envy. Now, so it starts from childhood, and unfortunately it continues into our adulthood. So you need to stay away from envy as much as possible, and it's okay to be inspired by the goodness you're seeing in other people, the goodies that other people have, and as much as possible find a sense of contentment with what you have. That does not mean you cannot ask for more. I'm saying as much as possible find contentment and be grateful for that, and I'll be talking about that shortly. All right, so let me see. Type 1 if this is making sense so far before I continue. Does this make sense? Is it clear? And again, you don't have to agree with it, but not bad. The question I'm asking, is it clear? Does it make sense so far before I share with you a couple of more lessons that I've learned? Type 1. Okay, I'm seeing a couple of ones. Fantastic. I'm glad that it's clear. Next. Thou shalt prioritize harmonious and peaceful feelings. Okay, so this actually summarizes everything else we'll be talking about today, because it's about finding, prioritizing peace, prioritizing harmony. Recently, I found that I had an issue with land I bought about 11 years ago. And I discovered that what I thought was actually 49 decimals was actually 35 decimals. So therefore I had to, and there was a dispute with the neighbor and all this. But I recall when I was engaging my neighbor and all this, my core priority was peace. So we resolved whatever we needed to resolve very quickly. Fine, I lost 13, 14 decimals in the process. And you know what? Last night I slept. I'm still sleeping. Okay. Yeah, Grace, I've gotten the message. Thank you. So the key thing is you need to ask yourself. So let me give you a tip. Assuming something is disturbing you and all this, and you're arguing over something, ask yourself, is you winning the argument more worthy than the peace in your heart? Because there are sometimes we get embroiled in arguments, in fracas, in drama, that you go home, you have pain, you have a headache, you have, your back is paining for stuff that you could have even avoided, that you could have let go. So one of the things that I've been very ruthless about the last couple of months, so I used not to read the news, but sometimes I would just look at the headlines just to see what's up, what's going on. But now the last couple of months, I've ruthlessly stayed away from news. Kabisa 100, I shouldn't say 100% because sometimes a headline bumps into my face. But I would say over 99%, over 99, 0.9 something off. Why? Because I know that the news will disturb my peace. I'll give you another funny, funny from my side. It may not be funny to you. I'm a soccer fan for Arsenal. So I usually check out Arsenal news. Now, the last couple of months, I made a decision that when we lose, I don't look at the reviews. When we win, there I want to read the news about Arsenal. Because then there I'll be happier, to be happy just to revisit the memories and all that stuff. But, and yet before I would lose, and then I would also read about the criticisms and all that stuff, and it would disturb my peace big time. So it's about you discovering all these things. Jimmy's typing her messages here. So you just need to figure out these things and say, okay, what are those things that keep me harmonious? And by the time we are done, you'll discover that once you do everything that I'll be sharing with you, you'll be having more harmony and peace in yourself and in your life. And by the way, the reason why being happy is good is then you attract more things that will make you happier. If you're unhappy, then you attract more things that are not, that will trigger more unhappiness. Out of curiosity, have you noticed that usually when you start the day on a happy note, then you attract more things that make you happy? And the reverse is true. When you start the day on a not so good note, then a couple of unhappy things also seem to show up in your life. How many of you have noticed that as a pattern? If you've noticed that, type number 2. If you've noticed that, that usually when you start the day on a high note, on a good note, then you seem to attract more good things. And also the reverse is true, okay? How many of you have noticed that? And sometimes you even hear people say, oh, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed or something like that when things don't go right, yeah? Yes, Joyce Turner says positivity attracts positive things. Absolutely. So these things I'm showing you, for me, in my view, this last segment is the most crucial of all the segments, because then once you're happier, then you attract more experiences that will make you happier. Okay, great. So I've seen lots of tools, they agree. So therefore, these techniques, these mindsets I'm implanting into you are really priceless from my own perspective. Okay. Next, 43. Thou shalt forgive self, anyone, and everything. Okay, so now you're saying, okay, meaning if you mess up somewhere, rather than criticizing yourself, forgive yourself, forgive yourself, forgive yourself, my friend. Because you staying in a criticism mode is double jeopardy. Because assuming you let's see, you arrive for a meeting late and everyone is criticizing you, and and then you go home, you're also criticizing yourself. No, the criticism you've received from the workplace is enough. Now going at yourself again is not helpful. And here is a trick. Forgive yourself. Also forgive those who are criticizing you. Forgive people. Like God knows I forgave that other fellow who did whatever he did earlier. And, it's Christ who said that, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. They do not know what they are doing. So most people, they will hurt you, or they will do crazy things. They will do challenging things out of ignorance. When I say ignorance, I really mean that, because the person who is doing crazy negative things to you is the one who loses out the most, because the law of harvest is that what you put out, you get out 10 times. So meaning, if someone is fighting you, it's just one person fighting you, then the universe will send 10 other people to fight this other fellow. to teach them a lesson. So you have to really learn to forgive yourself and forgive these other people because they do not know that law. They do not know that impact. Because that's why you'll notice that usually, this I've said before, and I'm sure you can relate. I'm sure you can relate that, let's say, people who concoct laws to harm other people at a national level, for example. Have you ever noticed that usually, almost without fail, that same law or that condition they create, they later become victims of the same laws, of the same concoctions they created to harm other people or to muzzle other people? Have you ever noticed that? If you've ever noticed that, say me or yes or whatever it is, type Y meaning yes. Have you ever noticed that say at a national level, global, those who create laws or policies to harm or to muzzle or to limit or to cause pain to other people, those same people down the road, years down the road, they become victims. Okay, so yeah, I've noticed that some of us do acknowledge that. So that's life. And you know what? If they knew this law, then they wouldn't harm other people. So when I say forgive them for they do not know what they are doing, I really mean that. When someone is doing stuff unto you, ultimately down the road, they are the ones who will reap the biggest, they will become the biggest culprits. So they don't know. Just forgive them. Forgive them. Forgive them. And of course, forgive yourself. Okay. Number 44. Thou shalt stay in happiness and gratitude as much as possible. Found this image online. I like that one. Keep smiling. Okay. I recall, and laugh as much as you can. Okay. Be happy. Be grateful. I'm grateful that you're here. I'm grateful for my water here. Because there are many people who don't have water. Clean water, moreover. Bottled water, moreover. Bottled meaning I got it from a 20-liter bottle. So I'm grateful. In a glass, a clean glass. Grateful. I'm grateful for Zoom to be able to reach out to you, to have people from different parts of the world, and we're engaging, which wouldn't happen years ago. Here we are. I'm grateful. So, what am I saying, my friend? Find reasons to be grateful. Now, the trick is every day find something new to be grateful for. Not just, I'm grateful for these images that I found along. I don't know who created them, but every day find something that to be grateful for, to be thankful for. Stay in gratitude. Be thankful. Be thankful. Be thankful for the food you had today. Be thankful for what you drank today. Be thankful as I was thankful for water today. Sometimes I forget to be thankful for the water, and I pray that God reminds me to be thankful for everything. And by the way, God is the source of all this stuff, for everything. So let's remember to be thankful. And once you're thankful, gratitude is one of the biggest keys to happiness. Now, this is something that I know I will not receive debate about. I said there are some things I know we will 100% agree, literally. So this is one of those. Be thankful, be thankful, be thankful, be thankful. As much as possible and be happy. Talking about happiness, I recall when I was at Ekwanjula for my best friend many years ago. That's about what, 15 years ago, thereabouts. He loves laughing. It's called Joseph. He loves laughing. So we are the ones who had gone to the wife-to-be's place. And we were laughing loud. And then someone tapped us at the back, said, no, we are done. We were like, come on. We laughed even harder. Who said that when you are at Ekwanjula, you can't laugh loud? Eh? Come on. So you see, sometimes we create rules that really limit our happiness and our gratitude. And especially in a society where there are many rules and policies and these sorts of stuff, So I'm saying, look for ways to be happy. Someone wrote a book, I believe, something like happy for no reason at all. Yeah, you can just choose to be happy for no reason at all. One day, my 8-year-old daughter saw me laughing and smiling. Said, but why are you happy? I said, no, I don't need a reason to be happy. I'm just happy. Now, am I always like that? No, I would love to be like that as much as heavenly possible. And I'm definitely at least 5 times more than where I was 10 years ago. Okay, so let's see some people. Okay, Joyce, I like this, that as soon as you wake up, first think of things you're thankful for, absolutely. And the other thing I recently started doing, and I pray that God helps me to do it every day, is I start telling my girls before, as they're going to sleep, please think about the things you're grateful for today. Beatrice said laughter is contagious. Okay, thank you. Yes. Harriet, are you? I love this, that a day without laughing is a day without living. Yeah. And you notice children smile much more, they laugh much more. Then we get old, then we start creating rules. We start creating, no wonder Christ said that the kingdom of God, heaven belongs to the little ones as these. They are heavenly. They typically live heavenly lives. Then we start muzzling them. Oh, why are you? I recall even when we were, I don't know, did it happen to some of you? I recall when we were young, we would laugh and then you would be criticized for laughing. That why are you laughing as a stupid person, as a foolish person? And then now we started thinking, hey, by the way, laughing is not a good thing. Now I'm beginning to realize what happens to our lives. That you're laughing as you speak louder than they're speaking as an empty tin. Then people start speaking in whispers. So we have to be careful not to limit how people can express themselves or how far they can go. I recall when we were still younger parents, so to speak. My daughter one day just spoke loud, and then my wife said, oh, you're speaking too loud. I said, sweetheart, no, let her express herself. And I recall that's the last time I had her say that. She understood the point. So sometimes we limit our children, we limit ourselves. So there are these habits we've developed as children, which were imposed upon us, and we took them on as beliefs, that you can't laugh loud. Who says you can't laugh aloud? Who says you can't smile? Who says you can't be happy? Come on, enjoy yourself. Yeah, it's a crowded place. It's an event, and there's nice music, and you just see people in their chairs shaking, until some brave soul steps up, goes up, and starts dancing, and they enjoy themselves. I was talking to a client today, a coaching client, a private one-on-one client, and she was telling me that for her, whenever she's at an event, she makes sure so she's going for an international event to attend. So we're preparing, like for people I coach one-on-one, when they're going for events, I prepare them so they are intentional and they shine. So one of the things we were talking about, I said, make sure you enjoy yourself. And she said, oh, by the way, I always enjoy myself because I tell people that I will never recreate this moment again. And I love that mentality. That moment will never happen again. Like the moment I was talking about when we laughed at the Kwanjula 15 years ago, if I had missed laughing then, it would never be recreated again. This moment, if I can't smile, then it will never be recreated again. Looking at these happy images. Okay, so what I mean by that is as much as possible, and that's something I feel I can do much more of. The fun side of life, that's an area I believe I still have a long way to go, and doing more fun things. The smiling, the laughter, the gratitude, I believe I'm doing an excellent job on that front. It's the doing more fun things is an area I would also encourage you to explore. That's an area where I still have a long way to go. And looking back, again, it's about discovering the patterns. Looking back, it's because when we were young, I discovered, it's like, but Ethan, how come you don't do lots of fun things? How come you don't engage so much in so many fun things? How come? So I discovered the reason why. When we were young, whenever I would go out to play, we would get beaten. You go to play soccer, your legs are dirty, you beaten, you do slides and all this. So meaning psychologically, I started linking pain to fun. I started linking pain to playing. And, so I need to start reprogramming myself as much as possible. Said have fun is cool, it's fun. And I like it when my girls come to me and say, hey, Daddy, want to go and play, want to go to the neighbors and play. Or Daddy, can you come and play with us? And I tickle them. And so they know that it's okay to play. It's okay to have fun. Okay. And on that front, my wife is always very keen to make sure that the girls are playing, that they're having fun, which is cool. All right. Last point. This is a biggie. Thou shalt bless everyone and everything. Oh, Lord. One of my coaching clients who's been having a challenge at the workplace, I told them this tip and it made a huge difference. I was having a very hard time. I don't want to go into details, but bless everyone and everything. Now, you remember those things, instead of just criticizing people, forgive them, bless them, and pray for them. Pray for people, that God shows them the way, that God opens them, and that God shows them the perfect options, the perfect ways. So, of course, that doesn't mean you cannot advise. There's a difference between advising and criticizing. You can advise, and most crucially, you can ask for divine intervention. God bless him. God bless that person, that they may see the perfection you want them to see. Guide them, that they may be saved from this stuff, that they may see the light, that they may love more, that they may laugh more, that they may be more joyous. And I discovered that doing stuff at the spiritual level is even more powerful than just talking to people about stuff. So it's incredible what's feasible. I recall there is a time when my daughter was throwing that was like 2 months ago, so either 1 or 2 months ago. So they were throwing a tantrum or something like that. So rather than go and say, hey, stop, or making noise or whatever you want to call it, to tell them to keep quiet and that sort of thing, I just made a silent prayer and asked God to help them to be at peace with whatever is going on, to be happy. And I remember doing that quietly. And in less than 3 minutes, they were back to normal happiness. So again, it's up to you to seek divine guidance to see, should you speak? Should you just pray? But regardless of what's going on, whether you have to speak to someone, or whatever it is, just forgive people, pray for people, and bless them. Wish them good. Let God intervene. God knows knows the best buttons to pinch, or not pinch, but to punch, so to speak. So when you do this, you'll be amazed at these days. Sometimes I usually use Uber, so I love it when I'm in an Uber and I just go around and I'm just blessing people. I'm just blessing people. Just blessing people. They have no clue. And trust me, there are people who are blessing you quietly, because it occurred to me the last 2 years or so that even me, I'm 10,000% sure that there are a multitude of people praying for me or blessing me quietly without my knowledge, from strangers to whoever it is. And that's how I've managed to overcome certain things I didn't know how to overcome, but somehow I did, and opened doors that I didn't know about opened. So let us spread these blessings, because I can guarantee you there are people who are blessing you quietly. And I know in one way or the other, we're already doing it. It's just that before then, I used to focus on family and friends and workmates and clients. But now you bless. You know where I got that lesson? The sun. See, the sun, and that insight was brought to me this year. The sun, every day, the sun just shines, regardless. It shines. Tall, short, angry, happy, dirty or no clean, smart suit, no suit, the sun just shines. That's how God operates. So if we can adopt the quality of the sun, and we become sunshine wherever we are, whether quietly loudly, whether in the open or in the quiet. So let us be a blessing. Bless people. If I was sharing with my wife that one day I got an insight and I wrote it down. I was supposed to post it. I believe I've never posted it. Now that I'm saying it, I'll say it again. It was something along the lines of, if our first instinct, if instead of blaming and criticizing, if our first instinct was to forgive and bless people, this world will quickly become heavenly. Okay, that's my belief. It's just that the challenge is the other side. Too quick to criticize, to question, to blame, and to condemn. And I've lived that life. Now I'm switching aggressively on the other side to pray for people, to bless them. Because number one, you don't know what people are going through. You have no idea. People are going through a lot of pain. You're seeing someone throwing a tantrum or abuse. You have no clue what they have gone through. You don't know the kind of childhood they had. You don't know the kind of spouse they have. You don't know the kind of husband they have. You don't have an idea of the kind of you have no idea, my friend. So that hurting people hurt people. A lot of people are going through lots of hurts. So I'm extremely, the other thing is, I forgot to add, let me actually, let me see the first tip that I had. Is it there? Yeah. What I forgot to add, let me add it in here, which I wanted to say. Here is it. Here it is. Had forgotten to add this. Thou shalt not judge. Yes, this judgment business, stay away from it as much as possible, my friend. Because I'm grateful that I have a special, I've been blessed to talk to as many people as possible. And over the years, you listen to people's stories, you're like, wow, because people consult me, they come for coaching, you have no idea. I was talking to P7 candidates, to senior 6 candidates, and I was listening to their stories, how some of these kids, I listened to some stories, even P7 kids, talking about how they I spoke and 2 classes, okay, 2 groups. Then when I was done, at least 20 kids would come to me, and I spent time. Luckily enough, after that, I didn't have an immediate appointment. So I spent an extra hour speaking one-on-one them to advise them, because they were consulting me one-on-one. Do you know, I was shocked that out of 20 kids, 4 of them had considered suicide. Why? Because they felt they were being judged, they were being criticized, they were being discouraged at home by parents and relatives. They had suicidal thoughts. For the senior 6 candidates, I believe 1 or 2, like 2 people, 1 or 2, may not have been 2, but at least 1 of the 20. Share that with me. What am I saying? These things build up from childhood. So you see people behaving in certain ways that you have no idea. You see people seeking attention and you criticize them. You have no idea that they didn't have attention during their childhood. So that's why I'm saying, bless people before you judge. Pray for them. Bless them. Bless people. Let us bless people. If we have some people, if you're watching this recording, find some people to bless. You have no idea. People just express what's going on inside of them, and you have no clue. I judge as much as possible. I used to judge 99% of the time. Now I judge possibly like 1%, and then I quickly catch myself and say, your job, Ethan, is not to judge, but to pray and bless people. No, not to pray, to forgive and bless people. Forgive, pray, bless. I believe if we can do those 3 things, I should write that one somewhere. I believe I should write that as a book or something. It should be a title or something. The thing is, instead of judging and all this kind of business that we are doing, is we should focus on forgive, you pray, you bless people. If we can do those three things, we'll help the world to be better. But guess what? You also feel better. Oh, okay, cool. I love the messages. Harriet says, God richly bless you, Ethan, and enlarge your territory of influence. Thank you. Harriet, Beatrice says, Ethan, giving us this session since man is already a blessing for us here, and God will continue to bless you with more. Thank you, Beatrice. Stephen said, thank you, Satan. I have really enjoyed your 45-year birthday through impacting me with 45 words, 45 lessons of wisdom, which will never depart from me. Wow, you're welcome, my dear friends. So, and please go ahead. Tonda says, these are life gems, blessing rather than judging. Thank you for these insights. You're welcome, Tonda. And so please go ahead, type in the chat box. What did you find most useful? Grace says, may God bless you, Ethan. Thank you. Thank you, my dear. Again, to wrap up, is thou shalt not criticize or blame self. And I should add, thou shalt not judge. Okay, I had forgotten the judging part. Thou shalt not judge. Criticize, blame, gossip. Thou shalt not gossip. Thou shalt stay away from doubt, fear, irritation, and anger. Thou shalt not envy anyone and anything. Thou shalt prioritize harmonious and peaceful feelings. Thou shalt forgive self, anyone, and everything. Thou shalt stay in happiness and gratitude as much as possible. All right. So the that is going my love and honest love. So welcome. Thank you too. Thou shalt bless everyone and everything. Okay. So what did you find most useful today, and how are you going to implement these lessons? Please type it in the chat box. Once again, those of you who haven't done so, instead of judging, forgive, pray, and bless people. Yes, yes. So, Succeeding Daily, go to succeedingdaily.com. There are lots of, I did 50 sessions, which I was hoping to sell at least $1,000. And God showed me to give them away everything for free. So life and career development. If you need coaching, go to ethanmussolini.com/coaching. If you want my story, go to bit.ly/story of Ethan Mussolini, or go to YouTube channel. The address is there. My social media handles, they all end with Ethan Mussolini. Those are my phone numbers. If you need human resource consulting and training, go to success-africa.com, or that email, info@success-africa.com. Florence is my current assistant, so you can, again, I'm saying current because I don't know when you'll be watching this recording. And then Jerry, so you can reach out to them in case you have any question. All right, fantastic. So thank you so much. And let me see. Oh, so may the good Lord bless you. And those of you who are watching this recording, please share it with as many people as possible. God bless.